What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin, and where do all fights start? Round one. So, we're going to do a little film study right now. I wasn't going to go on, but I had nothing better to do right now, and wanted to talk about some of the best fighters we have in the world. And starting at the top of the list is none other than the top pound for pound fighters in the world, which we considered in no particular order: Naoya, the Monster Inoue, and Shakur Stevenson. Now, I wanted to take a look at these guys, but not really what they did in the ring. I want to take a look at some of like their sparring footage and like to really get like familiar with these types of fighters and the things that they've been known to do in sparring sessions and what we can take away from looking in depth to some of the top fighters in the world. So we're going to be locking in here and we're going to be taking a look at them. So lock in, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, become a Round One Sports Talk member. And like always, let's hop right into this episode. Oh shit, my bad, guys. I had the mic off, didn't I? Damn, my fault. I was talking to my wife for a second. I hit the mic button. I forgot about it. I apologize. So we're gonna be taking a look at some of the best fighters in the world. We're gonna be taking a look at Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue, and we're not necessarily putting them up against each other. More or less getting familiar with the boxers. And I want to take a look at what makes these fighters so special in the sport of boxing. Naoya Inoue needs no introduction, where he is the only current undisputed champion we have today. And Shakur Stevenson, he needs no introduction, where he just made his fourth weight division as a champion. Now, Shakur Stevenson, in his own right, like I said, in no particular order, on the pound for pound list, is how you view boxing. But these two guys are definitely some of the top fighters we have today, leading the way. And rather than breaking down their extensive boxing record and going down of what they accomplished, I want to take a look at what makes them special as fighters. Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue, and how they perform in the ring. Some of these fighters really get their names from putting in that work and sparring. Now, sparring aside, we know what these fighters have done. And if you're not familiar with them, please go look at some of their highlights or their fights. But these are the top fighters we have today. And I want to take a look at some of the things they work on in sparring and what makes both of these fighters very special and at the top of the food chain in our sport of boxing. So no, like in no particular order, I'm going to put up Shakur Stevenson right now. And we're going to take a look at some of Shakur Stevenson's sparring footage. And I like to look over some of the fighters' sparring footage. I didn't even really have a chance to look at some of these right here, but this is one of his.
You might want to have,
and for educational
and
purposes,
for the brain,
we're going to be looking
important.
at Shakur
And
Stevenson
yes,
sparring. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the audio or anything, but I'm going to cut that off. I don't want to get copyrighted like that. Right now, they're not even letting me. Boy, is he fast. Look at this. Wow. Good setup. Those first two that punch up top wasn't the punch he was looking for. He was looking for that body shot right there. It's really buffering now, huh? It seems like when I want to play these videos, it does this. Man, it's not allowing me to really watch him spar. Nice combination. He's just toying with these guys. Small ring. That really makes the fighter engage. You got a real small ring. You train in a small ring. Damn, that was fast. This is when you see, like, they're just flowing. No pressure from the crowd. No family sitting in the front row. Nothing on the line. And he really lets go. Wow, his defense was good. He slipped right out of there. Did you see that? Wow. Wow. Yeah. Ooh. Damn. You saw how he set that up right there? He just did a running combination. Man, his body, the way he changes levels, it's impressive. That stabbing Bobby shot, that's like his bread and butter. He takes the air right out of you. Look at him. He's a punisher. They say Shakur doesn't stand in there and slip and exchange punches. This is all the man does. Catch and slip. Look at him. Wow. He's very efficient with his combinations and his setup. His delivery is like, he has a lot of confidence in his skills. Look at that, man. You can't touch him. Look. And he gets in there in sparring and he exchanges because he's working on slipping. He's working on moving. And if you don't do nothing in front of him, he starts to punish you. A little showboating. Wow. He's pretty fast. He really is. He'd just be torturing these guys. Shakur, it seems like what he tries to do is make these guys fight him to reenact real fighting situations. He's trying to bring Like it looks, he's punishing these guys. Yes, he is, right? But what also he's doing is he's making the guy bring the best out of him. When we're gonna go look at Naoya anyway, I'm gonna show you a different perspective in sparring too, right? There's this thing in sparring, right? That as you start coming up, when you become a world champion, at that point, it's pretty difficult sometimes to get some good sparring in. Why? Because every guy that comes in to spar you is sparring the champ. They're always going full gas sometimes. You gotta, like, tell these guys to chill. Like, because, you want, I'm the champion. Like, I'll rock you, but some of these guys are always giving you everything you got. And sometimes you got to tame them. Shakur Stevenson in this footage right here, he was like being the aggressor, and it shows that he wants real aggression out of his sparring partners. He wants you to fight him, and he wants to slip and hit you in between to really sharpen on his skills. You can see, as you saw right there in the sparring footage, Shakur was really fast, right? But he was also very technical, right? There were a lot of times in between sequences where he would hit him with that straight left or straight right. And when they say that, Shakur is very elusive, elusive he is, his footwork is up there, right? So as you can see in the sparring, that's one thing he's not working on. His footwork, he already knows he can move right in and out. He's in the guys' faces for the most part. We can go and look at a lot of Shakur Stevenson's, and I have saw a lot of Shakur Stevenson sparring. Mainly, I just wanted to see him against the other, some just regular sparring guys. I didn't want to put up like, the Richard Hitchens sparring or anything, and then people will take that personal. Like, oh, yeah, he looked like that against him, and they'll start judging him, when I'm just wanting to look at his work. I just want to see how he works, how he moves, how he functions, his technique. And Shakur Stevenson is at the top of the food chain for a reason. And he has sparred the likes of Devin Haney, Richard Hitchens, the Teals. He's come up in their era. They've all sparred against each other, basically. All the top guys of today have sparred against them. And some of the younger guys have sparred against the champs too. Shakur Stevenson is reviewed as one of the top fighters in the world, and it's no mistake. The people can see Shakur Stevenson's talent. Now, the issue with Shakur Stevenson is that the fans are like the Roman Colosseum of today. They want blood. They want knockouts. The difference between some of these fighters, not to put anybody against each other, but Tank Davis delivers knockouts. He delivers that exciting, explosive knockouts. And in today's modern Coliseum, it seems like the sweet science no more is being valued, no more than these belts. It seems like in today's era, they're not even respecting the belts anymore. Where that in today's standard, the 154-pound rank division in particular, if you were to go to BoxRec, one of the most credible sources of where you can get your boxing information, if you go to BoxRec right now and you type in the ranking of the 154 pounders in the world and what BoxRec considers the best 154 pounders in the world, the top two 154 pounders in the world, according to BoxRec, is Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. Coming in at number 3 is Xander How is that possible? They no longer value the belts and what it means to be a world champion. The top two guys are not champions in the 154-pound weight division. And in today's standard, you can be the top two without a belt. Shit, they got Josh Kelly number 6. Oh, Ismail Madachek is over Josh Kelly at number 5. He doesn't have a belt. Josh Kelly legitimately has a belt. And how can you say that you can have 2 belts and be ranked number 3? You don't even have 1 belt, you have 2. They no longer value the belts. They don't value championships. Today you can just be popular and be the number 1. You could be the number 2 and never have achieved a world title in no weight division. And you can be considered the number 2. Go figure. The disrespect on the real champions. What is the message they're sending? When you look at Shakur Stevenson, that's an amazing fighter right there. He checks all the boxes, and for some reason, what are they saying? He's a boring fighter. Shakur Stevenson, nobody wants to see that shit. Then what do you want to see? Blood, knockouts. That's what you want. And I can't disagree. I can't. It's what I want to see too. So it's hard sometimes in today's standard and era of what they value. You know, if I was Shakur Stevenson, I would look right into a camera and tell the world. I would tell the world, I don't hear your boos because I see what you cheer for. Shakur Stevenson is a very skilled fighter. And he's been putting himself in situations he really doesn't belong. He didn't belong up there with Tio. He's not that heavy. Shakur, what was he doing up there fighting Tio in the first place? Doing great boxing shit. Not every man can do that. What he did to Tio, he made Tio look like he didn't belong in there with him. That's a special fighter. Shakur Stevenson is fast, powerful, accurate. He's one of the less hitting few fighters we have in today's era. And at the end of the fight against Teofimo Lopez, look at Tio's face. Look at Teofimo Lopez's face. When's the last time you saw in the George Camboza fight when he had that big cut? I saw him a little red in a couple fights. Arnold Barboza kind of like Shakur Stevenson. After the fight, it looked like Tio was in a big fight. Like, yo, Tio, what's the other guy look like? And Shakur Stevenson went to the club and beat Terrence Crawford in a ping pong game. You don't value that as elite fighting? You wouldn't say to yourself, damn, who's the last person to do that kind of shit to fight? And then Shakur didn't belong there. Shakur's like a 135-pound fighter. Yeah, I would say that's his weight division, 135. So, just like the Mayweathers of the world, Manny Pacquiao's of the world, they were in a 1% category, but somehow they were viewed and judged amongst everybody else. Nobody respected the 1% they were in. Every time they got to a new weight division, you know what they would say? Why don't you move up to the next weight division and fight that guy? Like they're doing to a fighter like Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue is technically, right now, at 122, That's technically his 5th weight division. He has belts in 4 weight division, but he's fighting in his 5th weight division. What does the fight fan say? Go up to 130 and fight Tank. Go up to 135 and fight Shakur. That'll be like 7, 8 weight divisions from the division he started at 108. There, a lot of fight fans are coming in to find Naoya Inoue now, and they're thinking, "Oh, why can't you just do a weight jump? All these other fighters are doing it." When you don't know that he has belts in 4 weight division, and he's actually fighting in his 5th already. That Japanese dude might be maxed out. Speaking of him, let's take a look at some of his sparring footage and what makes him special in the boxing world. We took a look at Shakur Stevenson. These are some of the top guys that. Wait a minute. Why isn't it allowing me to? Hello? Oh, they got the new replacement features. Ha! Well, Restream is stepping up their game. The icons are looking different and stuff. So let me put up. This is where it would be at, right? Bingo. All right. I didn't have time to look at all of these. As you can see, the red lines are not up. When you watch the whole video, like the red line will all be up. So I'm just really taking a chance here. So I'm gonna pull this up right here. So we're gonna be watching this for the first time together. Okay.
Hey. Combination.
Tap, tap, tap. Yeah. Don't. He's about to tame this guy. This guy's giving him everything he got. Damn, that jab. Oh. Oh, you seen him switch from lefty to righty? Wow. I know this Japanese dude. Wow. Good setup. Look at him. Lefty to righty. Pop, pop. And it's good to see this because if people ask me, can he switch from left or southpaw to right? Look at effortlessly. That's probably what he's working on right now. Ooh. Naoya, take it easy. Don't turn it up on this dude. Be cool, be cool. Because you know he's toying with this dude. He's trying to get the guy to fight him again. Yeah, he tamed him. He must have hit him with a good shot in there, in between there. The guy's coming forward now. Damn! Come on, anyway. Chill out. Chill out. Switching righty to lefty. He's doing the same thing that Shakur was doing to his guy. Nah, anyways, beating the brakes off this dude. Let's check out some more sparring footage. He beating the brakes off him. Let's go here. Alright, shout out to Uncle providing the footage that we are going to take out Naoya Inoue. Let's see. Let's get him up here. Let's get him to the sparring. Who's he sparring here today? Little tap tap. Ooh! Uppercut was clean. It looks like he's working on his bounce today. You know, one of the things I was starting to notice with Naoya in a way, he implements a lot of fighting styles, right? One of the fighting style, wow, yeah, he's being elusive. You know how the Ukrainians have like that bounce movement where they dart in and out? You see a lot of different fighting styles that Naoya in a way implements. And he's not a one-dimensional fighter at all. He switches up his cadence at times, pap, 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 pap. When he wants you to like see his power, watch. Wow, that was quick. He moved out of the guy's punch. He rode with it. Man, the guy couldn't hit him. You could see what he's working on today. He's working on his movement. Let's take a look at some more sparring footages. What do we got here? Who do we got here? Who's this guy? Okay, let's check out this one. Looks like you got some sparring going on here. Let's check this out. I can't pronounce your name in Japan, but whoever you are, shout out to you for providing the Naoya Inoue sparring footage. Right, well, right here, PXB World Sports. Shout out to you. And we're taking a look at Naoya Inoue sparring. No, this sparring partner looks pretty good. He looks good in shape. He might bring it to you anyway. Don't be scared. Come on, bring it to him. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Ooh, they fast. Oh no, this is good work. This is good work right here. I wonder who that dude is. Look at them, they're like cats. They're like cats. Look at them. Ooh. They're like cats. Look at them. Fast. Oh, that guy's on anyway. Oh, he's on him. Ooh. You better watch out. That's why you got that nose, that guard, with that metal plate in there. Because in a way, start lighting you up. He's taming him. His jab is quick. Look at... His positioning is good, too. The guy that Naoya Inoue is fighting. But Naoya Inoue is just like... Damn. You can see when he wants to turn it up, man, then you see the real monster come out. Nice slip. Oh, good body shot. He's got... Naoya, his line is excellent. It's excellent. He doesn't lean too far in, too far. His dimensions are great. Damn. Man, he done slowed this dude down already? This dude look a little timid now. He was all electric in the beginning. Oh, he's very cautious now. Oh, the Naoya in the way done tamed him. Damn. Oh, he respects him now. When's the last time the dude threw a punch? Yeah, in a way, yeah. Oh, that's him? He's a fighter. He's a real fighter. You know who that is? Man, he was beating him up like that. Woo! Woo! I didn't know that. Damn. Oh, he was taming him. See, that's where you see that the elite level in this game. Truly the elite level. Mr. Miyagi with the $5 super chat. First of the day. Thank you. Yes, I'm doing pretty well today. But yeah, let's keep talking. Thank you for the shout out and the concern. And thank you most of all for the support, Mr. Miyagi. So it goes to show you like the 1% in boxing, right? The elite fighters. These guys, they even toy with some of the like top fighters when they spar. A lot of these guys in the real like big sparring sections, they won't film. They don't film because sparring is sacred, first of all. And if you were to come to my gym, get in the ring with my guy, and I allow you to videotape so that you guys can go back and work on your guy, and I see that footage online, that's the last time we're working together. Don't take our what we do at our job and work behind the scenes fighter credibility. You know what I mean? Over a sparring session. So we're not going to sit here and take sparring and compare it to real life boxing situations because you can't emulate that in sparring. A lot of people go, yeah, I seen him whoop his ass. I'm like, yeah, but you're not adding the crowd, the moment, what's at stake, your family sitting there, your wife sitting there. You're not adding all that in sparring. So in sparring, it allows you to be free. And that's when you see some real down gritty fights. But the equipment is different. You also got to take into account the headgear and the size of the gloves. And there are a lot of things that are misconstrued in the sport of boxing. For instance, headgear. Headgear, people think that you put headgear on and that it protects you from the punches and that it was designed to take the impact of a punch. When in fact, that can be furthest from the truth. Headgear was never designed really, to protect you in a sense, but not to really absorb the amount of the force of a punch. That's not what headgear is for. Headgear is for you to make bigger movements to dodge a punch. If you can dodge a punch with headgear on, when he throws a punch with 10-ounce gloves or 8-ounce gloves, you'll move out of the way faster. That's what headgear was initially designed for. And now, and the gloves to be bigger, of course, to, take some of the initial, but if you can make slick punches and get your punches in with a 16, 12-ounce glove, right? Then when you fight with an 8-ounce glove, your punches are going to slip in there. It makes you be more protective. You understand? So there's a lot of things in boxing you would look at and you would think, this is what this was for. they started implementing the nose guard to protect front damage from fighters like champions taking unnecessary damage, which would allow them to take more risk in sparring from actually taking the initial blow from the sparring partner. You know, that's what Sam Goodman should have been wearing when he was got that cut. In fact, he did have one on and still mysteriously got cut. Right? Read between the lines on that one. Right? So I'm just, as we sit here and we break down, some of this sparring session, what did we learn in some of these sparring sessions? Shakur Stevenson, first of all, right? He's fundamentally sound in all aspects of boxing. When you watch him fight, you don't look at that fighter and say he's flawed in some areas. He can't fight going righty. His footwork is not good. No, you don't see that when you see a fighter like Shakur. The second you see him, a few things come to mind. That's what boxing should look like, first of all. If you can agree with me, type in 1 in the chat. The number 1. Type in 1. Shakur Stevenson, so first of all, what I'm trying to describe is he passes the eye test right away. And if you were to view him the first time, once he passes the eye test, you start to break down other, qualifications and other attributes that Shakur Stevenson, what does he bring to the table? What makes him so special? Sometimes when we start to criticize or critique these fighters, we get lost in our critiques. Because when you critique a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, okay, you can point out his flaws. You can say he's not a knockout fighter, and when he gets hit big, he doesn't want to stand there and trade. All the things they say about him that you can critique him, right? Okay. But who are you critiquing him against? Who are you? What's the standard? Who are you holding him to? If you can critique and say that about a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, well, okay. Just show me in reference, the standard that you're holding him to. We'll start there because there are fighters you can compare him to. But when we have these conversations as fans sometimes, you got to keep that in mind. That at least compare him, and they may be fighters that you can say that are better, flashier, knockout artists. You would have a case in saying that. But at least start there. Then you would also have to say, where else do you compare him to? Accomplishments. What kind of champion you are. How many divisions have you done that in? How special of a fighter are you? Then you start to check off the boxes. And I believe that's where Shakur Stevenson today sits where he sits at. No matter what order you put him in. I'm not trying to sell you that he's higher or lower than any of the fighters on the list. No. What I'm pointing out is these are the 1% of today's era. You got to work with what we have. Stop comparing them of the fighters of yesterday and compare them to his contemporaries of today. And who's doing it the best? Who's putting more at risk? Every single time you go out as these kind of fighters and champions, there has to be a great risk and there has to be a reward. Sometimes you have lackluster fights, Josh Padley, he had a fight. Actually, I think Josh Padley, he was the type of fighter that didn't think he can lose. Like Josh Padley had confidence on his side. And Josh Padley on that night When he fought Shakur Stevenson, he was taught a very, very valuable lesson. Very valuable lesson in the sport of boxing. There's levels to this. He had never been in the ring with somebody like Shakur. He would later went on and interviewed and told what it was like to fight against Shakur Stevenson. Although it was short notice, and there's a situation where a fighter came in and had the balls to fight Shakur Stevenson when everybody in the world counted him out. Shakur showed what kind of fighter he is in the fight, but Josh Padley was awarded for his courage and his sacrifice. And I think that that's what should happen in the sport of boxing. That some of these guys have came in, saved the card, gave you a night of boxing when the other guy pulled out for whatever reason. These guys, the TJ Doheny's, the Yi Young Kims of the world, those are the heroes. The Roman Cardenas, those are the heroes. The men that stepped in, that wasn't initially supposed to fight the champion. But yet when you do this, they go back and they criticize the champion. Why did you fight Josh Padley? Look, you're fighting low competition. Why did you fight Yi Young Kim? Why did you fight TJ Doheny? Then they're giving the champion shit when they're not honoring the real heroes. The guys that gave you the right to see your favorite fight. Without that guy, you don't see Shakur that night. Without Josh Padley. Because the other guy ran for the hills. Food poisoning and all this other stuff. They broke into my hotel. That other guy didn't show up. But guess who showed up? Josh motherfucking Padley. And he went out there and he fought his heart out. He really went in there and tried to change his stars. And you literally on that night saw the fight taken right out of him. You saw Shakur Stevenson was on a different level. We knew that. But Josh Padley didn't know that. He was fighting like his life depended on it. Like if you had guns to his kid in the back locker room, Josh Padley was trying everything. He was outskilled, outgunned, and he was taught a valuable lesson. He can walk away from this, and he's had his fights, and you'll see. And that's what makes Shakur Stevenson very special and in the 1%, in my opinion, in today's eras. Fighters like Naoya is in the 1% as well. Where that, because of the fact that he fights in lower weight divisions and not the glamour divisions, today's standard of viewing boxing, and he fights in a unique time zone that if you were to get up and tune into one of his fights, it would be an early one. Unless he was fighting in Las Vegas, which I was in attendance. Very, very entertaining night, to say the least. Woo! We had a thriller. We had some action, some suspense. Naoya went down in that fight, got up, kicked ass. Man, listen, I was surrounded by Mexican support. Okay? So when they say that Mexican love, it's real. That shit is real, man. I was like this. I had everybody around me. You go Mexico, bro. Yeah, man. Yo, listen, I knew I was like, this is not the right place or the right time to start talking that Naoya shit, Edwin. We're just going to keep this to ourselves. Right? Yo, the support was there for Roman Cardenas, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The Mexican fans they treated me like a regular fan, man. They bought me beers and shit, man. I had a great time with them dudes. I was just cheering for the other team. I let them know too. I let them know I'm with Naoya, but I wish your guy the best of luck. When he dropped him, oh my God, it was crazy. That's listen, it was crazy night, crazy night. But Naoya, in a way, he's he's very, very, very unique as a fighter. Very. His skill set is not to be overlooked by any stretch of the imagination because he's small. Sometimes I think that big men by stature, 6'5", 6'4", they don't really look or can see the little guy because they're little. When you have the giants of the world, the Uziks, those kind of men, they don't really see them. It was very beautiful and unique to see Usyk actually get in the ring at a Naoya in a way fight and call him the best fighter in the world. And that was a show of respect. He gave the same respect to Shakur Stevenson because Usyk is a real student of the game. Usyk. You can see he views all styles. He's always looking to see or to take something from another fighter. Those are the best. The best do it all the time. Naoya Inoue took Nonito Donairi's check hook. He saw the way he throws it, the delivery, the technique, and he said that's the right way, and he took that for him. Fighters do this all the time. Some fighters look back at fighters like Muhammad Ali and take his footwork and mirror themselves after that. Naoya Inoue, you can see his fighting style. If you have the time, go watch some of his fights or highlights and watch them. You'll see a real master at work. Naoya Inoue is the type of fighter that can flow effortlessly around any style. Styles that give Naoya Inoue trouble, unorthodox fighters, spontaneous fighters, guys that you can't get a beat on, guys that constantly switch it up and give you different looks, different rounds. Luis Pantera Nari wasn't the type of guy that switched it up, but he was a twitchy fighter, and he was like a Mike Tyson S, where that you didn't know which side he was gonna pop out on. Naoya Inoue made some adjustments, kept them in front of him, and picked them apart. It was a real test of Naoya Inoue's boxing fortitude, his ring IQ. What did he do wrong? Where was he at? Where was he? Where he shouldn't have been? And what not to do. Those are real things in real time and split second decisions that not every boxer in the world can do. Not all boxers can read, make reads, and figure a guy out. I've always talked about this. Good fighters will have you figured out in 6, 8 rounds. Great fighters will have you 4, 5, 6. An elite fighter will do it in the moment. Naoya Inoue, Shakur Stevenson, fighters like that, they make adjustments in real time. And then you compare them to other guys like, well, if this guy was in there, he would have did it like this. No, that's just you talking fast. That guy doesn't have the skills to do that. Nor could he pick up on the read that fast. Sometimes fighters get lucky. They get a good shot. Guys just saw, what was his name there? Cotto get knocked out brutally. Puerto Rico, yo, Santo Domingo, y'all are up one. Yo, we got to give it to you. That was a brutal knockout. Wasn't for a world title. No. But, shit talking, bragging rights. Yo, Puerto Rico went down bad right there. Yo, that man, he said, the life came out of him. Yo, his motherboard shut off. And then the other ones, those other 2 punches, those punches were necessary. Put him down. Boom, boom. And he dropped the Puerto Rican fighter, bro. Hey, we can win like we can lose with class. Puerto Rican fighter lost. He lost, baby. What? Back to the drawing board. That's it. Dust yourself off. You got a little laxy daisy with your defense, and you got caught because it looked like he was the better fighter in the ring on some H2O shit. Want to get laxy daisy? You pay the price. That's the game you win, and I make no excuses for him. He got knocked out, laid the fuck out right there. So Santo Domingo, y'all got well, okay. That's okay. In a couple of days, what is it? Tomorrow, well, we got Carlos Adames and Austin Williams. Now that is the fight you guys need, Santo Domingo. We'll talk about that when we get there. But to get back to this film study on these two amazing fighters, they're two of the top fighters we have today in the game. Both fighters are reviewed and viewed as the top, but for different reasons. And I bring these two up because Shakur Stevenson is up at the top of the food chain, and the boxing gods apparently put him there for a reason. He's not viewed as the most spectacular knockout artist, but he's still there. And why is he there? Has to be his skills. It has to be what he does in the ring, and it is Naoya the Monster. Naoya the Monster Inoue. He's there for a much different reason. He's the Coliseum fighter. He's the guy that brings you blood, knockout, wow moment, oh shit moments. Wow, oh shit. He's there for that. And for being one of the most skilled fighters. And as you can see, two of the top skilled fighters in the world, and neither of them are the face of boxing. It'll go to show you the standards and boxing in this era and the way we view our fighters have changed. How is it possible that Jake Paul can have more star status than the elite fighters we have in the game today, including Usyk? The top three. Usyk's name is not ringing like Jake Paul's name is in the US. No, it's not. He's got all three of them beat together. Jake Paul. How is that possible? He's never competed for a world title. He really never should be on a ranking system. And he took a big chance with AJ. Tell me, what weight division does Jake Paul actually fight in? And who in the division has he ever fought? Just one. Tyson Fury's little brother? I don't think he was in the ranking system. In the top 60 people. He was probably ranked like 200 and something probably. I'm not sure about that. He could have been ranked higher, but shit, I've never even heard of that dude until Jake Paul fought him. To tell you I didn't even know Tyson Fury had a little brother. I knew he had brothers, but I didn't know he had one that boxed. I should have said it that way. I didn't know he had one that boxed. I know they had a big family, but I didn't even know about that dude. So that speaks to what I talk about. In the era of boxing we actually are in, where unfortunately being the more skillful fighter doesn't always translate to the top of the boxing world. The thing is, unlike Shakur Stevenson, Naoya Inoue in Japan, he's a rock star. Where Naoya Inoue is from, he doesn't even hear the U.S. comments. Naoya Inoue wants to be revered in all of boxing the best. So he's willing to make sacrifices. But to tell you the truth, where he's from, in his home, on his country, on his island, he's top dog. Can you say that about Shakur Stevenson, where he's from? And how do the fans view him? He's got to fight with every upcoming star or even current star in the game to survive. There's too much star status. We're too Americanized and we're hard to impress. Shakur Stevenson's actually in the ring doing all this crazy shit, right? I swear to goodness, Shakur can go right now and just walk down the street in Boston. Eventually, people will start to notice who he is. He might gather a small crowd. And I mean, if Shakur walked out the street in Newark, New Jersey, he can go shopping in Newark, no problem, in downtown. There'll be some people, though, they might start to recognize who he is. And then it might be some days they let him shop. Some days they might mob him a little. But I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be like no Tank shit. I don't think it'd be like that. Right? The difference between Naoya Inoue, Tank, and all that, Naoya Inoue can't walk outside in Japan. He can't shop. There's no way Naoya Inoue can just walk downtown Japan and say, yo, let me just stop in here and buy some sneakers and a jacket. When he turns around, there's going to be like 1,000 people outside, maybe more. His buzz where he's from is different. Those people, they catch wind that he's in some store in Japan or something. They'll be like a fucking, you'll have to call the cops. There'll have to be an escort. He might shut down some areas. His vibe is different. That's why I think he doesn't hear us. They're like, yo, come out. And he's been out to America 4 times and to the Brits like once, Naoya Inoue. And I think that's why, because if you were Japanese, if you were Japanese and you woke up tomorrow in the body of Naoya Inoue, you were Naoya Inoue, and you went to your window, people, you know what I'm saying? Would you feel like you needed to be something anywhere else? Would you feel that you would hear the Westerns? Would you look outside and say, you know what? I ain't shit unless I conquer America, because this is not enough. Is that what you would say to yourself? Well, it's kind of what Naoya did say to himself in a way, I guess. He has all that. He's revered like a king. And he still wants to come out here and prove to us that he can beat anybody? Damn. He's really him. He's not doing it for the fame. He doesn't do it because he needs any more cheers than what they're already giving him in Japan. How much more famous? So you're going to another country and you want to be revered as the best in another country. From applause and cheers, you won't hear? Because when you go back home to Japan, you leave the US. So you're trying to conquer something you really don't have to do. There's no need for you to come out here. You're actually losing money coming out here. So it's not about the money. It's not about coming out here and trying to stay famous in the US and living out here or learning our language. He's literally coming out here just to kick everybody's ass and get on a plane and go back home. He's literally just doing it to tell you, to show you, no, I am him. And no matter who you get, no matter where you talk him up, bring him up, just bring him to my weight division. And I'll prove to you and everybody else, I am the best. Period. Period. He's about to whoop on his own countryman, Junto, just to solidify that point back home. Because he didn't need a Junto fight. Naoya, in a way, he's too established. He can literally pick out whoever he wants. He's way too far established to answer to the next young lion. That at this point in his career, our American guys, we're looking to the way out. We're on our way out. We're picking these kind of fight. We're not fighting the top young, hungry next prospect like Floyd. He didn't fall Paul Williams. Why? He didn't have to fight Paul Williams. Paul Williams, you were the next hot, lefty, tall, fucking next superstar. He was on his way out. Floyd, gotta answer you. Terrence Crawford, you don't gotta answer Jerome Butenis. You were on a different trajectory. He left Terrence Crawford left him there holding a vacated IBF belt and went about his way and fought a multi-million-dollar fight. I don't gotta address you. You're not on my level. I've already done some shit. Jerome Butenis, do your own legacy. Stop pulling on my cape. Naoya, in a way, the dude came up, the next hot, shiny new thing, and he turned around. He said, no, not only am I going to answer you, I'll fight you next. You're young, hungry, they're claiming that you're the next top thing. Naoya, in a way, on his way out, his fights ain't getting weaker, they're getting tougher. His next few challenges are not going to be weak. He's going to be moving up to 126, where there's a new row of killers. But wait a minute. Aren't you about to retire at 35? Aren't you 32 or something? How are you taking greater risk, bigger challenges? That's not what my guys taught me. My guys, when they got to a pinnacle in their career, they started fighting less opposition. Naoya Inoue's competition is going up. How is he not the 1%? Are you not impressed? My favorite fighter right now in the American side is not doing that. America is attacking boxing in such a way that even if the best skilled fighter out here is actually doing it in front of you, you won't be able to see him. Because in America, they're trying to tell you that championships don't mean shit. And that real skill shouldn't be rewarded. Thank God for some of the boxing gods that recognize masterclass performances. He made it look too easy against Teal. I don't think people value it when he shuts people out like that. Shakur Stevenson, I don't think they see him because they're not going to allow you to. And it's unfortunate that you can have some entities in the sport of boxing really skillful, the best of the best, but not the face of boxing. It's crazy of, you know, how we view the sport, you know? What? You want to see that, Pally? Ain't nobody got the time for that. For what? For what? What are you guys talking about? Damn, I gotta go way up here. Salute to everybody in the chat. Yeah, that's when I was muted. Yeah. I went all the way back up. What's up, Low Key? I know Low Key was gonna come up here today. I know you ain't said nothing about it, but I know you low key waiting to talk about my boy that got knocked out. But so I already beat you to it. Because I know you. Listen, low key was locked and loaded. You know what I'm saying? I got some Nerf bullets in this gun, some styrofoam bullets that they will irritate your day. Come up here with that bullshit, low key. I'm watching you. Hey, who's your boy behind you? I got some Nerf bullets for both of you. Yo, yo, low key. Shoulder sparring with, see, you want to already start me. That's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go down that, make this sparring tutorial with like, I didn't want to see no sparring footages with Shakur and Devin Haney. I didn't want to show that. I don't want to use another star like that or like to like put them in there like that. I just want to get a feel for them as fighters, and I wanted you to get and familiar with these fighters with me. For you can do an eye test. Maybe there might be some fight fans in here that are not as fluent in boxing. Maybe I should have broken down, what they were doing, the jab, the 2-4-6, like combination sets up. I don't know if you guys, but to give it the eye test, you can see that both these fighters are very skilled, and they are the most skilled fighters we have in today's standard. Now, see, the difference between Shakur Stevenson and Naoya, in a way, they are the type of fighters that can adapt, make changes, but not all fighters are like that, and I've touched on that. There are unique styles in boxing that are considered one-dimensional, but they are masters at that one dimension. Fighters like Subir Matias, he's a master at that style. You know what he's going to do, but it's very hard and difficult to stop him. You see? You have a lot of fighters like that. Virgil Ortiz is a type of fighter that he can make boxing changes, boxing reads. He has good footwork, but we haven't seen him do it at the elite level. And that's when I say that you can't put the cart before the horse with all these guys. They're in different stages and different levels in their career. And you got to judge them as such, but you also got to allow yourself to view fighting and boxing that not everybody should look like Jaron Boots Ennis to be successful. Because when that happens, then all of a sudden the boxing world, you can see where they no longer are viewing the boxer for what they're good at and what their faults are. You're not seeing his style. You're just saying styles make fights, but you're not actually seeing what kind of style he actually has. Is he a boxer puncher? Is he a brawler? Is he a technician? Is he a mover, a counter puncher? Is he a little bit of both? Does he have traits and attributes of three of them? And you got to start to break down your fighter's style. Not his technique, just his style. And what happens is when you start to look at your favorite fighter, like a Jaron Boots Ennis, and then you start comparing them to the rest of the division, You no longer get to see the division. In your head, there is no style better than Geronimo Boots Ennis. That's where a lot of fight fans go wrong. Because I hear at Round One Sports Talk, I try to tell you guys, I said, listen, I'm not saying that Xander is the best 154 pounder when I say this. I'm saying that Xander, technical wise, the fun things, the fundamentals in boxing, his form, his technique, he's a better boxer than any of the current champions when he wasn't and unified. They were all just had one belt. Abbas Baru just got that one. At that moment, people saying I was crazy. I'm not saying that spells victory. Just because he's a more technical boxer doesn't mean he can beat everybody. But I don't think you guys can see Xander's fighting style, his aggression, his ferocity. He's also smart. He makes mistakes, yes. He's also young. For a 23-year-old kid, I think he was 22 officially when he won the belt, his first belt. But for being 23 and unifying, and we have to admit, we know he's fairly young. We wouldn't say he's green anymore, but shit, just 2 fights ago, you guys didn't want to put him in with no world champion. And now he's a unified world champion. He must be doing something right. And I think that the boxing world, or a big majority consensus, can't see Xander because of fighting styles like Jerron Boots Ennis. Flashy, entertaining, powerful, skill. And if you don't look like that, well then, hey, you must not be him. And I think that that's where some people and boxing fans make a mistake. And that's why you get shocked by your what's his name there, the dude that starched H2O, the Canadian there. What's his name? I gotta get his name. His Body, Lucas Body, right? I just remembered it. You wouldn't be able to see Lucas Body. There were some Canadians that was telling me about him while he was getting his ass kicked from H2O. And in the night, I'm like, man, H2O looks too fast. That American slick style. And H2O is playing the part. And the patience, round by round, Lucas Body started getting closer and closer and closer to. But H2O was too good, too concentrating on looking good in the ring. He fell asleep behind the wheel. And when he knocked him out, a lot of people were shocked. They were like, oh, that was a big upset. But to a small part of the boxing world, they weren't shocked. They didn't consider it upset. In fact, they considered Lucas to be the more seasoned of the 2 fighters in some circles. They can see Lucas, his style. Just wait for it. It's going to come. Wait for it. He's a big puncher. And boom! Home run. That's what I mean. So, unless you're stuck every time if you notice, pick up habits and patterns on yourself, on what you view and why you follow a particular fighter. What actually draws you to that fighter? You'll start to notice that probably your last favorite fighter from your last favorite fighter throughout the courses of the years, they might be all similar. Maybe you like the flashiness, the speed, the slick movement, or maybe you're a power guy, like knockouts, the brutality of it all. Maybe you like forward aggression. A fighter that's intensity is never matched. Maybe you like a guy that throws 1,000 punches like David the Monster Benavidez is electrifying and a lot of combinations and the brutality behind his assault. Whatever you're into, maybe that's how you view your fighter. And here at Round One Sports Talk, we talk about broad things about boxing. And I'm showing you a different way so that even if you went to put money down on a bet, Round One's teaching you and alerting you to certain styles and how to view it. How long has he been fighting this way? Has he fought lefties, righties? How good did he defend? He looks like this. You see some guys, they have slow starts. And guys, people at home are like, man, he sucks. No, this is his style. This is what he does. He drags you out to deep water. Tank Davis was losing that fight against Mario Barrio. But was he really losing? Or was he giving Mario Barrio false courage? Was that all in the plan? To keep putting his gloves up, walking towards you, and having you throw punches at his guard. Up, another round for Mario Barrio. Was it? Did Frank the Ghost Martin really think he was doing something when he put that knot on Tank Davis's eye? Did he think he was, competing with him? Tank Davis was never out of control, not for 10 seconds, in that Frank the Ghost Martin fight. People said, look at the combination Tank. Frank the Ghost Martin hit Tank with. Hit him with a big shot. Look at that shit. That was all part of the plan. When you can read it and you can see boxing for what, he drowned him. He took him up a few rounds, zapped out his energy. Frank the Ghost Martin started really reacting to his punches. He knew he had him there. He had him shook. Masterclass by Tank. I've never seen anybody do that to Frank yet, like that. I mean, that last fight, yeah, okay. But, not like Tank Davis, man. Tank Davis took his spirit that night in the gym. In the ring. He took it. When you can take a man's confidence and you could see it change in front of you, you ever get that guy that's talking shit? You might have done this in the ring, a street fight, or in any kind of fight, UFC, whatever. And it works. This works everywhere. Any fight. The guy comes at you. He's full of energy, confidence. He's going to whoop your ass. And the fight starts. And you guys trade punches. Boom, boom. You might hit him with a big one, right? And it wobbled him. But now he got mad. He's coming forward. Boom, boom. You duck underneath those shots. Boom, 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 right? Then all of a sudden, you see his expression change. You could tell in his eyes, he doesn't want to be there anymore. You could see it. And then that falls, sometimes it'll be like one final hurrah, where the fighter will try to boost himself up. Sometimes they do it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they break right there. Sometimes they'll be like, whoa, they'll try that one more thing. Just calmly step, slide, boom, right? And then after, sometimes it's usually over after that, but you can see the moment the fight leaves them. And there's nothing better than that in a fight. You go, Shakur Stevenson, Tio, they walk out. Tio was full of confidence. He was just full of it. Tio just knew, he was gonna clip him. And that punch never came. Never came. In the middle of the fight, Tio started to look lost, a bit confused. He knew right there Shakur was a better trained fighter. But Tio might have felt like he might have that feeling like you might be better trained right now. But if I was trained like you were, I think I can compete with you. And fighters, maybe Tio felt like that, maybe not. Maybe I'm speaking a little too, about Tio's feelings. But it was evident. At least I saw it. I saw Tio was not trained on the level as a fighter like Shakur. That was the difference for me in the fight. I think Tio's a very talented fighter. He just doesn't have superior training. That's all. And when you lose like that, and you finally realize that, you got to do a lot of soul searching. I think Brian Norman Jr. went through it. I think he feels like, his dad took him as far as he can go. And in a nice way, there's no better way, Dad. My dad's not going to fucking like this, no matter how I fucking present it. But Dad, thank you for everything you did. You took me as far as you can. I got to get world-class training. And I think that Brian Norman Jr., I never, ever am for splitting up a father and son relationship. No, I'm not. And somehow I encourage Brian Norman Jr. to get over this and get in your son's corner where you belong. No matter what part it is, accept your role, your position, but your position is by the side of your son. That's where you should be. Okay? Your son is looking to elevate himself in different ways. Support him. Support him. You never know. Everything comes back full circle. Just like Ryan Garcia left his dad, went looking everywhere else. Where did he end up? Back with Pops. So, Brian Norman Sr., trust the process. Just trust the process. And let me speak to your son, by the way. I hope that made you laugh. Listen, fight fans, I still want to go on maybe, later than 7:30, but give another late one. What up, guys? What's up, Pug? Thank you for tuning in. Malasa, what's up? Preach to God. Peace to God. I'm sorry. My eyes are bad. I had to guess that one. I can't. By the way, if you're tuning in here, Round One Sports Talk, I'm blind as a bat. And my fans have been telling me for years I need to go do this doctor's appointment. But it's not as easy as just going downstairs, getting in my car. And, my wife, she's busy. She has a car all the time. And there's no horse and carriages in my neighborhood. We have taxis and we still do it in the horse and carriage. We're too far behind the time. Nah, I'm lying. But there's no buses and cabs in my town. We don't even have a hospital. So if you get fucked up in my town, you better be country strong because they're going to. I'm just a city kid that moved to the country. So I'm like miles. I'm like an hour away from the next big city. And in an hour, Florida the drivers, they're like, he's a pussy. An hour. I drive 3 hours to get a gallon of milk. Like when I see my sister out there in Florida, I'm like, damn, you guys drive a lot. Like we be complaining if I have to drive to the convenience, which is like 4 blocks literally, that I can literally see the store. And if I have to drive there, it's a little too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Right? Yo, I'm trying to tell you, nah, I just got a bunch of excuses. I got to get these glasses. I'm just full of excuses. Don't listen to me. I got to get these fucking glasses. I really do. But I've never had glasses, and maybe it's a thing inside of my head that maybe I might have picked on a person with glasses once or twice, and now I feel bad. You know what I mean? I was 10 once in my life. I was 10 years old, so don't judge me. You know what I mean? So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Um, hopefully we'll be on tonight with Frontline, my co-host. We read your chats, we engage more. Today was basically I just wanted to get up and talk about the sport, boxing, and I hope you had an entertaining time. And I hope I filled up some of your day, and we were able to, you know, talk a little about. Well, I was able to talk boxing. You guys were able to listen, but I hope I made it a show for you. So thank you, fight fans. Don't forget to hit that like button. And I'm back to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have